Well, hello guys, I hope you're doing well. So this week I've come down to my local river just to try and get out a bit, and I'm getting eaten alive by midges right at the minute because there's not a breath of air today and it's damp. So I've come down and it's been raining for a few days non-stop, and the river's so high that I'm struggling to get anywhere near it, to be honest. So I'm going to have a wander around up and down this river and see if I can get something. I'm not too sure if there's too much water in here or whether I'll get away with it, but we'll wander around and see what we can find. So with any luck, you'll be able to hear me above all the noise of this water. So I've found a spot, and what I'm trying to do is, rather than get right close into the side of the stream or the river here, is to push myself more into the middle of it. Now obviously, I can only go so deep before it goes over the top of my wellies, which wouldn't be good. So I've pushed myself as far as I can over, and because of it's quite a narrow river, I don't want to put it into landscape orientation, I want to get it into portrait. And that means I can focus on this rock down here and use that as a bit of foreground interest, which leads down into this heavier sort of, well, rapids really it is now because of the amount of water flow. Now I'm trying around about a third of a second. I'm using a polarizer, a breakthrough polarizer. And basically all I want to do is cut down the reflections on this rock in the foreground and get it to around about a third of a second to get a lot of that texture left in the water. Now I might have to extend that because the water's moving so fast. I might have to extend it to get a smoother sort of finish on the water, because that rough look, it might actually look too rough and too busy in the scene. So I'll just have to play around with it and see what works. Now what I tend to do in this sort of situation is, because I know kind of how my camera works and performs, is you tend to get some bright spots in the water. So what I tend to do is I look at my histogram on the back of the camera and I try and line it up somewhere towards the centre. But then what I do is I underexpose it by a stop, because if I do it bang in the middle and I view it on the back of the camera and I actually put the overexposure warning blinkies on, the water's overexposed. So I always dial it back a stop, and that just stops it from overexposing the water where you get the bright spots. So as I was walking away from the river there, and I was getting absolutely eaten alive, and I still am in these woods, I came up the hill just to see what the woods were like today because of being rain and wet on the leaves and everything. I thought it'd be really good to get some woodland shots as well. And as I was walking up the hill, I noticed the path and the way that it leads off into the distance up there. And I'm going to try it two ways. I'm going to try it pointing down the hill, shooting down, and also pointing up. Now the thing with shooting up there is that I'm going to get quite a bit of sky and the odd bit of white coming through in the frame. And maybe it might actually work a bit better shooting down towards the gate at the bottom here. But we'll sort of try both and see which works best. I can't work out which way looks better to me. I quite like the way that the path curves around to the right and then to the left again up. There's kind of an S curve at the top. And I'm not sure I'll get the same effect heading down. But we'll try a couple of the different shots and see which works best. So now I actually see the shot from up here. I actually prefer the shot actually pointing down the hill. You get rid of most of those bright spots in the sky, and it's actually got, the line of the path is actually a lot nicer from up here. It's got more of a pronounced S curve, so I like it a lot better. And I'm going to take both shots, landscape and portrait, just to make sure I've got both. But I think looking at it, probably portrait's going to work a lot better. Now again, the same as I was using down at the water, I've left my polarizer on just to sort of make the greens pop, and because everything's wet, just to take the sheen off all the leaves. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.